Hello, I'm David Lazier, a mentor and coach for mentors, coaches, and trainers. And I'm also a mentor and coach for home business entrepreneurs. And I want to thank you for taking time to watch this short video. Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you some special information for mentors, coaches, and trainers about how to improve the mentoring, coaching, and training that you provide. I've been mentoring, coaching, and training people for most of my professional life, some 40 plus years now, 20 working for others, and 20 working for myself. And I've learned so much over these years about training. This video is about 10 myths that have crept into the mentoring, coaching, and training profession. Check your own belief system as I go through these myths and see if any adjustments are needed. Now, the first myth is that if the trainer is well prepared and thorough, participants will understand the material. Well, I can think of a number of times when I was very well prepared. I was doing a great job of presenting. I was in my element. I was really on a roll. And then I looked out at the audience and I realized I wasn't reaching them. They really weren't with me. So the reality is that well-prepared material presented in only one way will reach less than 10% of your participants. I'm sure all of us know that the more different ways that we can present the material, we reach everyone. Now, the second myth is that the more times the information is repeated, the more participants will remember it. Now, I think this one is a holdover from public education, where we had to memorize times tables and maybe the Gettysburg Address and the periodic table. It is sometimes called the drill and kill method. But the truth is, from the research, is that there really is no direct correlation between information repeated and repeated and repeated and our remembering. The ways we remember are very unique to ourselves, to our different intelligences. And it's probably much more accurate to say that the more different ways we learn the information, the better we'll remember it. Now, the third myth is that the trainer is the expert and knows much, much more than the participants. The reality is the participants are the experts where the rubber hits the road. Now, it's true the trainer's got to have mastered the material that's going to be covered in the training session, but the real expertise lies in facilitating participants making meaningful connections with the material. The fourth myth is that if participants really pay close attention, they'll get it. Now, I think this is somewhat related to the myth number 3 about the trainer being the expert. When I am feeling this, when I'm feeling that people aren't paying attention, they need to pay attention so they'll get it, it's really a bit of an ego trip that I'm on. Paying attention to me, paying attention to my important words and what I'm saying. Now, the truth is, though, the reality is, the participants' active involvement with the training material is how they're really going to get it. You see, the direct instruction approach to training is effective with adults for less than 15 minutes. Participants have got to have an opportunity to make the material their own. The fifth myth is that human beings basically all learn the same way. The truth is that each human being has at least 8 different ways that they learn, they acquire knowledge, they process information, and understand. This is called the 8 intelligences, or multiple intelligences. This is really my specialty, and I'm going to invite you later to check out my website if you want to know more about the 8 kinds of smart and the 8 intelligences. But in each person, certain of these intelligences, or certain of these ways of knowing, are more developed than others. The key to an effective training is presenting the material in ways which take into account these differences. Myth number 6 is that the trainer's main job is to cover the material, where the reality is that the trainer's main job is to uncover the material. In Webster's dictionary, the meaning of the verb to cover is to hide from view. This is a throwback to something I learned from my English literature teacher when I was in high school, and I tell you, I've never forgotten it. That the trainer's job is to facilitate the learning process in participants, that is, to get them excited and involved with the material. Just racing through a bunch of material both wastes time and money because very little real learning will occur. The seventh myth is that adult participants can be expected to understand the content being presented in a training session. The reality is, and I mentioned this earlier, just because a great job of presenting was done does not mean understanding happened. Participants' ability for grasping information in any training is directly related to how it's presented. If you want to reach everybody in a presentation, you've got to take into account participants' prior knowledge, their life experience, their age, their gender, and their educational, cultural, and socioeconomic backgrounds. Myth number 8 is that some groups are smarter than others. The truth is, the reality is, that some groups learn differently than others. The key to every group is to find out what will help them learn. Then it's the responsibility of the trainer to do whatever it takes to reach them. This is another vote for understanding multiple intelligence in the 8 kinds of smart. Because you see, it's not a matter of how smart a group is. The question is rather, how are they smart? It's a real different question. Myth number 9 is that when you're presenting new information, direct instruction works best. That is the lecturing method, also known as stand and deliver. I mentioned earlier that research shows that the adult brain can handle about 15 minutes of direct instruction. The key to teaching new material is to assess participants' prior knowledge and build on what they already know. Even when learning brand new information, participants' interaction and involvement with the information is more effective than lecturing at them. And finally, the last myth is that if you really want to learn, you will learn. But the reality is, if you really want to learn, maybe you'll learn, depending on the learning situation. I'm a fanatic about the learning environment when I'm involved in a training. A learning environment in which participants do not feel respected, where their input is not valued, where they're talked down to, and they're expected to simply sit and get the information, that's going to destroy the desire to learn for even very highly motivated learners. So there you have it, the 10 myths of mentoring, coaching, and training. Please understand that I was not talking just about a formal workshop situation. These myths creep into mentoring and creep into our coaching. It creeps into just one-on-one training that we're doing with others. So take these to heart. See what adjustments you may need to make in your own belief system. So I hope you found this video to be interesting and fun. If you would like more information about multiple intelligence, the 8 kinds of smart, or anything else that I talked about in this video, in a moment I'm going to give you my website and I invite you to go visit it. This website was put together specifically for mentors, coaches, and trainers. There's lots of resources there. My goal is to work with you to help you turbocharge your training, your mentoring, your coaching. I would also like to offer you a complimentary consultation so that I can get your questions answered and find out how I can help you with your mentoring, coaching, and training. Now, my website, you will find this at www.home-business-smarts.net. And down the left side of the page, if you just click on the Contact Me tab and fill out the form, and I'll get in touch with you right away so that we can set up your consultation. Again, thanks so much for watching this video.